and welcome to DownTime Distractions. Today you're joining me, Mung, and we're gonna do another first play video of Gauntlet Slayer Edition. Now, just a little background history on this game. This game was actually a classic game that was made in the 1980s by Atari. Initially, it was actually an arcade game that people used to play, in an actual arcade place, which very few exist today, but that's where people used to play it. So this game is created by Arrowhead Studios. I believe they just remade the original classic Gauntlet, and we will, have a first go at this game, and let's see how it looks like. So let's just go start a game, and we shall start a campaign, I guess. Let's make it normal. Easy is probably a bit too easy. Normal is probably okay. Hard, I don't know if I can handle that. So as you can see, I've put in about an hour or two of gameplay here. And this is just the map view to initially basically choose, which stage you go through. And it's kind of like a Mario kind of map system, where you start at the entrance, at the beginning, and as you progress through the games, there's other places where you can go, and other things, other places you can go, and you can follow, of course, the more direct path, which is probably what is the main storyline, but there is also these side things that basically just offers more kind of challenges and offers you more chances to gain gold, which is the currency in this game, to unlock items and essentially kind of level up your character. Now, the interesting thing about this game is that each kind of stage is quite unique. There's sort of a feature where the stages aren't always the same. So it's not really, say, okay, you pass one stage and then the next stage is going to be the same. Each stage kind of has quite an interesting challenge or way of playing the game that makes it quite interesting and makes it quite exciting when you go to the next stage, because you're going to be playing and you're going to be wondering, ooh, what am I going to have next, and what am I going to play next? What's the next challenge? What kind of monsters am I going to meet? And I'm guessing the deeper you go, the harder it's going to get, but the higher the rewards you will receive and when you successfully finish each stage. Now, I'm not 100% sure what the shape of these checkpoints really mean, but I have a feeling they're associated with the challenge that you'll have to do or have to play in the stages. So let's start from the entrance, so I can talk about the different characters you can choose, and what's different characters to choose and what kind of advantages they have and disadvantages. And I did manage to go through all characters, but I kind of like sticking with the more melee based characters. There's nothing quite like being in the front lines and just wailing away at monsters. So this is the character select screen. What you see in front of you is basically 4 slots for 4 characters. On the first slot, the 3 other slots are empty for other players online who want to join in, or other friends that I invite into the game. Or it could actually be just a local player who has another gamepad plugged into my PC, or actually even another keyboard. So I tend to like using the warrior. I just like it because he's up close and he's just swinging away and killing things right in front of his face. So just quickly going over the change equipment. So each character has their equipment sets. They've got weapons, talismans, relics, head, body, and capes. So if we go back to weapons, basically these items or these weapons here are unlocked by collecting enough gold and unlocking them by paying up for them. Each weapon has its own ability. Some abilities are for more crowds, some abilities are more for specific single enemies. The talisman, again, is like another ability slot, which is probably more related to using items like potions and things like that. The relic is another ability slot, which is more catered for an offensive ability. So it helps you with your attacking or your more, or maybe all your defensive roles. Appearances for the head, these are all just vanity. Just makes your character look kind of cool. There isn't really any benefits to whichever one you select. It's the same thing with the body appearance as well. The capes, however, are a bit different. They are actually, you can't actually purchase them. You have to unlock them through challenges, and most of them are unlocked through the Colosseum challenge, which is another game mode which I'll talk about later on in this video. So each character has these things. I'm just going to briefly go through the other characters. You've got your Valkyrie, pretty much the character with the highest health and her abilities to defend very well and last a little longer. So she's essentially like a tank in an MMO. Then you have your wizard. The wizard is probably the trickiest character to play. Can be quite hard, especially on your own, but he is the one with the more powerful range attacks and the better crowd controlling abilities. And then you have the elf. So the elf, I think, is the easiest character to use. If anything, I kind of feel like Gauntlet's game design is based around the elf character. Mostly because you'll be running a lot away from mobs and you'll be able to shoot them. You'll be able to kill them from a distance, which means less contact, which means less likely you get hit. And he has certain abilities that really makes a bit easier to move around the map. So with that all said, I'm going to select the warrior and we are going to start a game.
Let's see how you fare against the power of the dead.
A cursed tomb, no doubt filled with ancient warriors to slay. The perfect start to my legend. A shame there's no one here to see it.
So this is basically the first stage. Now there was another stage before this one, but that was more like a introductory sort of stage. So what you basically have is this, the game is basically all about collecting money. You wanna collect as much gold as you want, like as much as you can, so you can use those gold to unlock new weapons and buy new kind of vanity items and all that. So this little blue thing here is that talisman I was talking about earlier, which you use to, throw it like a holy hand grenade and basically kill things and that, to get yourself out of a situation. So the controls are pretty fluid. It's really nice. As you can see, the game is actually really nice looking. The lighting effects are really nice. The textures are a bit basic, but I think it works for this game. So yeah, it's all about the gold, man. Gotta collect all the gold. With the barbarian, he has the basic attack, an attack that stuns enemies, and then he has his ability attack, which is specific to his weapon. And also because I equipped a specific relic, the relic basically gives me ability to run faster and attack faster. So I'm not gonna go play too much of the gameplay in here. Just wanted to show you, what the basic feel of the game is, the movement of the game is, and in the next map that I will show you, which is when I'm up to, you will really see how chaotic the game is and how where the fun aspect of it is. I'm just going to quickly show you battling with the melee class sort of characters.
The dead rise from their graves to test their mettle against Thor.
So you can see with the melee characters, they do attack all characters once, but you really have to get close to kill anything. And the thing is, with Gauntlet, the game kind of doesn't. This character doesn't cater for this game too well, and you will see it when I demonstrate a more ranged character in the next stage. So, yep. So this is just the basics of Gauntlet. This is just with a melee class. So let's move on to a more a more ranged class to play with, and you will see how crazy and actually quite fun this game is. So as you can see, this is the next stage I'm in, and I decided to use a elf this time. As you can see, it's already quite intense. There's already like a ridiculous amount of enemies, and the best thing to do is like to be constantly moving, and you don't want to be caught or trapped in a corner, because if you do, you're screwed. Also, you really, really want to really use your special abilities to the max. Otherwise, see, as you can see, the dungeon master is telling me that I'm shooting food by accident. That's not good. It's okay as this guy because I can kill things from a distance, but if you are, say, like a warrior, you really need your food because you're really close up range, and you really want to make sure that nothing bad happens to the food.
This was actually really good.
So you can see already how the elf is actually a little bit more easier to play as a barbarian, because you're more likely to survive with the elf than you would if the barbarian, because he moves a lot and he's fighting from a distance, and you don't really want to stay close with this elf. As you can see, it's pretty crazy. Put a bomb there. Oh shit. Thank God for the dodge. Shiza. Oh man, this is nasty. This is nasty indeed. Woo.
It's just like my mum said.
Oh my gosh.
Sorcery won't get you
Lucky
anywhere.
kill. Okay. Have a taste of my bomb. So there you go. Once you pass these stages, you get a lot of money. Now, the thing about getting the money, though, it's not a total pool for all characters. The money I'm collecting here will only be available for the ranger, so that kind of makes things a bit interesting. This stage is a little short. It looks like it's only one stage. And that's what I mean by when you enter each stage. It's not always going to be the same. Sometimes it's one-off like this, where you just have to kill a lot of enemies. Sometimes you will go from room to room. And sometimes it could be just one, I'm guessing, a major boss that you have to fight. So that's kind of what I like about this game. It's very neat. It's in that, you're always constantly in pace. The levels are always interesting. It's pretty crazy. There's a lot of things for you to kill. So you can see from the amount of mobs that this game is very, very, very catered for a community-driven multiplayer sort of game. You really want to play this with friends. You can manage to play this on solo, just like I did here. At a harder difficulty, I don't know if that's going to be wise or if that's actually possible. It probably is, with a little bit of practice. But it definitely makes things easier if you had like a melee character drawing all the aggro of the monsters, and I'm just in the back, wailing away and shooting arrows from a distance. That would definitely make passing stages a lot easier, and it would make things a lot of fun. Uh, that's one of the things that I sort of would have liked if they added in something like a bot. Because the game is really, really driven by the community and by lots of people playing, and since I've only started playing this game at such a later time when the game's already released, it's very hard to get to join a match. You literally be waiting there in the sort of queue screen, just waiting for the game to be populated with people. You'll be lucky to even get a game at times. So if they added in something like a bot system where, if no games are found for, I don't know, after 5 minutes, they can just, populate the other character slots with maybe some random bots, and the bots will just do their own thing and play with you. They may not necessarily do amazing teamwork, but at least that way you have a chance to play at a higher difficulty and get more gold to unlock things. So playing solo is going to take a lot of time to unlock a lot of the features, and it's going to take a bit of time to pass stages. I'm guessing, especially if you really want to play the game on hard. So let's just finish this stage. The floor's cleared, and my elf gets a truckload of money. And I've got 8,000 to spend, and that unlocks the next stage. Very, very similar to Mario. I do like the art of the map. The map is very cool. So this is basically Gauntlet, the gameplay. I am going to finish up here, and then we're gonna go back, and I'll conclude this video with some sort of my thoughts on the game, and we'll leave it at that. So before I finish off this video of the first play, I just want to show you another game mode which kind of adds to the point of one of the things that I kind of have a personal I think would be a nice feature to have for the game. And what you have is something called a Colosseum. Now, the game mode for Colosseum is where you unlock capes, and in order to unlock capes you have to beat the challenge. And this is where Arrowhead has implemented this feature so that people will come back and play it, because the Colosseum offers daily challenges. Now, the thing is, the Colosseum is very hard. I tried playing it on solo with all the characters, and it's just not possible. You really need to have at least 2 people playing in the Colosseum, which is a little bit stink, especially if you're like me, who has played this game at a lot later, way after release, which means that the community is quite small. Not much people play it, and so trying to find a game with people to play is a little bit tricky, and sometimes you may not even get a game at all because you're just constantly trying to find players. So what I thought would be nice is if they actually thought about it and maybe incorporated a bot system, so that if you are looking for players and eventually after, like, I don't know, 10-20 minutes there is no players available, it will just automatically assign a bot for you to play with you, and so that way you can at least experience the Colosseum game and try to unlock the capes. So I don't really necessarily think it's a flaw. I just think it's a nice thing to have. I think they really tried to go for community-based game for this, and I can see the fun in this game. I can see why you would want to play with people, and it's definitely encourages you to play with your friends and all that. But coming as a gamer for me, how often do you actually get to play with a friend, or set aside a time to play with friends? It's something that I don't really have too much time on my hands, or it's something I need to organize with my friends to say, hey, okay, let's have a co-op night. So if you're in not, if you're in that kind of same position, it's very hard to kind of get involved in the Coliseum mode of the game. But besides that, the game is really good. I really like it. It's very stable. It works very well. It's definitely not a console port to the PC. It works well. I mean, you can play with the keyboard, but I wouldn't really recommend it. The graphics is really nice. The sound effects is really cool. The stages are really fun and challenging. They could have maybe done a little bit more with the sort of way characters upgrade. Just depending on currency to upgrade your characters, I think is a little bit basic. I would have liked it if there was a leveling system on top of that. Something maybe a little bit more similar to a game like Sacred 3. But yeah, no. I would recommend you try this game at least. Don't know if you would want to pay full price for it, but definitely get it if you see it in a Humble Bundle, or if you see it for very cheap on Steam. It's definitely a game worth playing with other people. You can manage to solo, but it's going to be a little bit tricky, and it may get a little bit frustrating at times, especially once the difficulty starts increasing. I'm not sure what the future plan is for Gauntlet, or if Arrowhead plans to do more. I believe there's a DLC out which gives you another character, which is the Necromancer, which I don't have unlocked, so I can't really show you guys that character. But yeah, I think it's a game worth playing. Definitely, probably a once through game. I'm not sure if I'll get back into it a little bit more, but definitely a game worth checking out. Again, yeah, if you guys like this video, please subscribe. And me and Mesh hope to churn out a lot more of these videos to give you guys a good idea of what the game's like, and help you make a decision of whether you want to, pay for it or whether you want to play the game. So I will see you guys next time.